It's better than the $500 you're going to spend.
Entertainment business.
Writing, producing, acting. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Casting
Couch with your host Todd Stroik and
Carrie Kapanoff.
gosh, it's so great to be back here filming with you again on this beautiful day in Hollywood.
It's like harmony and butterflies and hummingbirds and
Yes.
peanut butter sandwiches.
I don't know about that. And speaking of beautiful, I have probably the most beautiful guest we've had on the show yet this season, Ms. Devin Mills. We're very excited.
She's a talented actress, writer,
award-winning writer,
producer, creator of this amazing web series,
Yep.
Dating in the Middle Ages. I say we take a look at some of her amazing work.
All right, let's take a look at her reel now.
I must escape this Monsieur Pooh.
Oh, no, no, no. It's not a Jew.
I'm not afraid of you.
That's good, Samantha. That's really good.
Nicholas. Don't break character.
Oh, right. Sorry.
After all, this dominant, submissive role-playing thing was your idea.
Right. Where were we?
Really? Salvation Army, babe. Yes, darling, I know I've taught you how to organize.
Why are you in my closet at 8:36 in the morning?
It's just one big hot mess in here.
Mom, why are you here?
Oh, my word. I know you're just waking up, but you need to brush those teeth.
Whoa, okay, that... When she's singing about the colonoscopy, I was just kind of... I think I got a little wet. I think a little urine came out. That's what it was.
Well, that's what happens when you're a talented, hot, sexy mama
That's
like
true.
Devin Mills.
That's true.
Let's
All right,
meet her.
let's hear she is. All right, Miss Devin Mills, how are you? Oh, so good of you to come and join us.
Air kisses.
Yes.
love it.
Yes. I don't like air kisses. I like the real thing with tongue, and she'll give it to me later. Great. Okay, it is the Casting Couch, right? Okay, well, let's dive right in. I want to talk about your show, Dating in the Middle Ages.
How did you come up with it?
Yeah.
Well, I left my husband. So, no. We're still best friends and everything.
Good.
But it was really hard, because being in a marriage for a long time, I mean, you don't know what online dating is. You don't know what coffee dates are all about. I mean, you don't know what this whole world about having to get out there and date again is like. And especially the older you get, kind of the harder it gets to date too. So my girlfriends were telling me about all these horrible dates they were going on.
They obviously did not go out with me.
So I was like petrified to even get out there.
Right.
And then the task of like even doing an online profile for like one of these dating sites was horrific.
Well, first of all, it's like 100 questions. Then to go sift through everybody and then to go on the dates with these
So
people.
obviously someone has been on a lot of these sites.
I have no
Someone named
idea
Carrie
what
Kapanoff.
you're talking about.
Okay,
I'm
you
going to
just
start
pretty
a web series called Dating on the Internet Always.
Yeah, well,
So you like your life.
But then when I finally started dating and having experiences of my own, it was like, oh God, such fodder for the show. Because I mean, there are such crazy people out there. I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Right.
It created a lot of good stuff.
Right.
So I thought, well, why not turn lemons into lemonade and write about my dating experiences?
Right. And the show is so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about like the business side of dating in the Middle Ages.
Sure.
Okay.
Tell us, like,
you want to know
what
how
do you wanna know, like,
What do you want to know?
well, I mean, you're a female producer. That can't be easy, right? Can you tell us maybe?
Well, I think the more hats you wear, the more difficult it is too, because it's not like I'm just a writer, so I can kind of turn it over. It's that I also produce, so I help hire the crew.
Right. I've been there.
I act in the episodes, as you know, and so it's kind of this marrying of all these different types of things to be doing all the time. So you do have to be really able to step out of one set of shoes and into the other, especially once you get onto the set,
Right.
And that's where a good first AD, a good director, a couple of good producers will come in. They'll help you, take heavy weights off your shoulders so that you can just act in the moment or be in the moment or whatever. But it's not easy.
No.
But the real work comes, as you'll find out if you have not already. I'm foreshadowing here.
Yes.
after, this is all fun. This is
Yeah.
the fun part of it.
Right.
You know, producing it, you know, editing, all that's fun and games. I mean, the real work starts when you start marketing your project.
Ooh, right.
You know, and trying to find out where to put it, you know, and who's going to buy it and who's
Right.
going to watch it.
Right.
And, you know, it's a lot of research, it's a lot of time, a lot of hours, but these are things that need to be done unless you have the budget to hire a huge PR firm or even
Right.
a small PR firm.
They're
But-
expensive.
But then you're not even sure that they're really, because I've had that too.
Doing their job.
Now I'm doing it all myself.
Mhm.
But you're not really sure that they understand your show the way you do.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Good.
And you have to just kind of be in for the long haul. You know how they say
Right.
it's a marathon, not a sprint?
Great.
That's,
Great advice.
That's how it is.
Right.
And if you can just keep that in your head so you don't go crazy thinking, why isn't something happening? Everybody loves the show, or they say they do. You know, I'm getting these views. Why aren't things happening faster? You know, I read something someplace that, you know, it's just our responsibility to get it out there. You know, and to do our best that we can every day and what
Absolutely.
we know how.
Yeah.
And then kind of let it go.
Step back and it just
Yeah.
it's let it ride.
I've created a lot of social media for my show. My characters have their own Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I have a Facebook page, you know, not only for myself, but for the show. You know, I have LinkedIn accounts. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Pinterest. I don't even know how to use those last two.
Right.
But I'm on
But you're
there.
on there,
Right.
You
and
know.
it's getting the
Absolutely.
information out there.
Because we are a web
getting the product out
industry.
there.
We're a
Yes.
web industry. We're an online
And that's where
show.
we're moving to.
Yes. So, you know, the more information, the more research you can do, the more venues and social media you can be on and be active
Right.
in, you know, the better your show's
Right.
going to do, I think personally.
I think you did something very brilliant with dating in the Middle Ages for the second season, which I feel like I learned from you, and I thought it's just spectacular kind of advice to get out there. You brought on some very big names to play some great roles in the show. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, here's the thing. Not a lot of web series have money, unfortunately, which that goes back to my whole beginning thing is you gotta have a little bit of money. You just do. You
Right.
know, in most cases, especially if you're gonna do some sort of scripted comedy
Right.
or scripted drama, I mean, reality shows are different. They're a whole one set deal, so I'm not even talking about that. But you gotta have a little bit of money.
Absolutely.
And granted, if you have a little bit of money, then you can bring in a little bit of star.
Yeah.
You know? And a little bit of star sometimes is all you need.
But I think you got a lot of bit of
Well,
star
you got a
for
lot
a
of
little bit of
star.
money.
Well, here's the thing. You first got to know who your audience is. Okay? My audience is soap opera people. They're going to watch my show because my show's a funny soap opera.
Right.
So, you know, who better than to try to get than a couple soap opera stars, right? To bring on, you know, as my mom or, you know, as my love interest.
Smarty.
You know, or actors that were like big stars maybe in the 80s, but they're not so big right now. John Schneider, who's making a huge comeback. You know, both.
But they still have a
They
following. They have a history.
Right,
following.
Yes.
right. And you've been pitching the show left and right. So,
Yeah, and I just this season I found out I have new areas to pitch, new audiences.
Right.
You know, the baby boomer is 78 million strong, and okay, they're not all quite online yet, but they're getting there. And you know, Facebook, I just found out the largest demo is middle-aged women. So Facebook is a great place for me to have my show. Not
and a
only
great
that-
place for me to find a date.
That's true too.
Because I like to date in the Middle Ages. And so you're doing all of this marketing and producing and writing and starring in the show. What for you, like you were just an actress before, so once you stepped out and you decided to kind of encompass it all,
Yeah.
what did you learn from like the backside of things as an actress?
Okay.
Like,
Well, before I answer that, marketing is in my roots. I was a vice president of marketing for a company for many years. So it's my second home. So I'm very comfortable and I love doing all that kind of stuff, which is great. That said now, segueing into the production side of things. Okay, well, season 1 and season 2 they were two very different animals, okay? Season 1, I hired some people that were like, oh, please, Devin, just be the star.
I hate when people say that to me. Oh, I love to do all the work.
It's like, can we just do
Let's
it?
hear
We'll
up.
tell you what we need, but we really need you to concentrate on acting. I was very spoiled as an actress in season 1 because all I had to do was show up and be the actor. If there were any problems, they were kept from me till the end of the day. But this was a very professional, more expensive operation too. So, you know, I paid a lot more for that, which, you know, that's okay. But this season I didn't have the funds to do that. So this season I was really more hands-on. I don't know what I'm doing. Production, I'm the first person to say, I don't know, please help me. You know, so I hired people that kind of took it over, but not. You know, they kept coming back to me and coming back to me for decisions, and I was like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? So it forced me. What was really good about it was.
So because of that, you were kind of the executive producer.
Totally.
When it comes down to it.
Totally.
So I kind of like being an executive producer.
You're great at it.
Because it comes down like people come to me like for the last word. They're like,
Yeah.
what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want.
Well, they came to me for the last word in season 1, but they brought things with them, and they said, this is what I think.
Oh, I see.
In season 2, they said, we don't know. You need to make the decision.
Gotcha.
So it was a whole different animal. Not saying that it was one was bad or good or right or wrong. They were just two different worlds.
Right.
So, and I think being in those two different worlds was a big learning curve, you know, always. I mean, no matter if you're on any type of production, you can learn.
As a woman in the industry myself, as a writer and director and producer and actress, what are maybe some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome as being a woman in the industry?
Oh, good. Good question.
As you get older, the roles become slimmer and slimmer. There's a big thing called ageism that's been around forever and ever. So really, if you're over 25 and you're not a lottery winner, or if we take you to Vegas, you don't win all the time, you better start learning to do something else in the business. If you want to stay in the business, great, but have a backup plan. You know, become a producer, or, you know, if you write, really, you know, hone out your skills and try to get your stuff done. You know, if you like editing, get into that, but do something other. You know, become multifaceted rather than just an actress, or, you know, because being
Or just an actor. I mean, it's the
just
same
an
for men,
actor,
too.
Yeah.
Or an actress these days, it just doesn't cut it anymore.
Right. I think it's really true for anyone. Yeah. So what about more advice or tips for someone thinking about moving to LA?
Okay, well, God love you. First
Right.
You better have
Yeah.
lots of money saved up. And
Wow, you know what? We ask a lot of our guests
That's
that.
usually the first thing people say.
Right.
Save up that money.
Well,
It's not-
unfortunately, acting is not cheap.
No.
There are lots of ways to separate an actor from her money, and a lot of them are legit, but a lot of them are not. So that's also, you have to buyer beware.
But how do you know? How do you figure out what's right and what's not? Or
Well,
you just have
hopefully
to try
you get
and-
involved with nowcasting.com,
Mhm.
actorsaccess.com. You start and you could be living in any state to do that. You start
Right.
your research there.
Right.
You know, find out who the good photographers are. You know, argentum.com is a good photo lab. You know,
For getting headshots
Yeah.
ordered and printed.
yeah.
Great.
But I mean, these are places that you can do your
Research before you even get here. You find out about these places. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, once you get here and you get into classes, which totally take up a lot of money, I mean, gosh, between your photos, your classes, the actors' workshops, you know, living expenses, you better have a sugar mama, sugar daddy. You better have a
That's why I
boatload
have
of money.
Devin.
You better or have a boatload of money saved up somewhere, or go away, work, and come back when you have the money.
Right.
And if you're young enough, you can do that.
Right. And if you go away, like if you leave LA to save the money, you can still be working on your craft, right?
Right.
While you're away.
Right.
You don't just, things are going on all over. You don't
Yeah.
have to be in LA. You don't have to be in New York City to be a working actor.
Statistics say that it takes 5 to 8 years to make it in this. Well, let's talk about what make it means.
Right.
Make it in this business, just to be clear, means that you are one of the 4 to 5% in the guild or not in the guild that works in this business.
Going out on a regular basis to auditions.
Yes.
I say one of my biggest challenges out here is just getting in the door to audition.
That's right.
When I get those auditions with these big casting directors with films or with big TV shows, I'm like, I've already won. I'm getting in the door and I'm being seen,
It's that
because that's
opportunity
part
of
of
being
it's
seen.
part of that building your network, and you're building that relationship with that casting director, with that director. You may not be right for this part, but they've seen you, and if you bring your A game, they're going to bring
remember
you
you.
back in for other projects.
Because
And
it is
that's
about relationships. And once you book with them, I'm talking commercials now. Once you book with a commercial casting director, they will bring you in for anything and everything that you are remotely right for. I'm blessed because I work in commercials too, you know, and that's how I make some good money. So I'm always brought in, you know, but it's about relationships. It is about, you know, going in, doing a great job, showing up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
some people
gosh.
don't even show up, taking it seriously as a business. And, but again, the 5 to 8 years that I'm talking about, now this is after you've been in class for however many years, and you finally feel your craft is solid enough to where you're not going to freak out and lose it in the room, in an
Right.
audition room.
Right.
So I'm not talking that, hey, you move out here
And then in 8
at
years,
18
you're like, "Ooh, yeah."
and 5 to 8
26,
years
you're like,
you're-
I'm
so there's the reason why I'm saying that is because if you're 35 and you're moving out here, great, or you're 40, fantastic. But just know that unless you're an extremely lucky person,
Right.
again back to that, because there's a lot of that in this business, you need to give yourself 5 to 8 years after you're ready to audition to start
Right.
making a little bit of money at
And
this
I
game.
mean, I moved out here when I was 29. 5 years later, I'm still 29. So it should be by the
That's
time
great
by,
how
by,
that
the,
works,
by,
by
by
the
the
way.
way
You
I'm
are
29.
30. By the
by
time
the
you're
way, by the time I'm 29, I should have made it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So it's good to know. Good
That's
to know.
right. It's still working.
Okay, so how do we connect with you?
Yeah, how do we
like,
find
Dating in the
you?
Middle Ages, what's the website?
datinginthemiddleages.com.
Great, so we can go and
And-
watch episodes there.
Yes, and you can contact me through the contact page there.
Oh, super.
I also have a Facebook page, Dating in the Middle Ages. It's actually facebook.com/Dating in the Middle Ages.
Okay.
So like the
Um,
page, go
yeah.
to the page.
And you're on Twitter?
My Twitter account is @datingwebseries.
Great.
So there's lots of ways to connect with
Super.
me.
And what's your private cell phone for all the single guys here in LA that want a date?
Nice try.
All right. I mean, I have it.
She's like, Todd, I'm not going to give you my number, Todd. You're
All
not
right.
going to get
Oh my
it.
gosh, thank you so much for joining us here on that
Yeah.
couch. Oh, yeah. Mwah. Oh, Erica says, mwah. All right, great.
Yeah, you're
there
the
you
best.
go. Get it in there.
Mwah.
Oh, thank you
The
so much.
best.
So
Best.
much great information,
I hope it
especially for
helps.
I think our female viewers and our male viewers to get from you.
Just as someone, you're doing it.
Right.
thanks.
And thank you so much for tuning in this week to The Casting Couch. I'm your host, Todd Stroik.
I'm Carrie Kavanaugh.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page, The Casting Couch,
We'll see you next time.
here on The Couch.
It's always sparkles and flashes in California. Paper hoes and playboys pump me full of celluloid. We keep it tight almost every night. Red carpet style in the door to five, we do it right.